Today on City Line, State Representative Gloria Fox's historic time on Beacon Hill comes to an end, and how Question 4 on the Massachusetts ballot might affect communities of color if it passes. Hello everyone, I'm Karen Holmes Ward. Welcome to City Line. She is the woman in the Massachusetts Statehouse with the longest tenure in its history, serving the 7th Suffolk District since 1985. State Representative Gloria Fox ends her 31-year run representing Roxbury on Beacon Hill in January. Among many honors, Representative Fox received the Lifetime Achievement Award from the National Black Caucus of State Legislators for her community activism. The departure of the only African-American woman serving as a state legislator points to an alarming lack of diversity in that body. And today we welcome State Representative Gloria Fox to our program. How are you today?
I am fine. Thank you, Karen. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for being here. Now, let me start by asking you, you've been there for some time now. Public service gets
31 years.
31, has a bad reputation in today's world. What made you want to run?
I guess it started way back when I lived in the Whittier Street housing development. I began organizing in Whittier Street, and then I was spotted by Pat Rayner to be one of the paid community organizers through ABCD, the anti-poverty program. So I worked my way from an organizer to the director of the Roxbury North Dorchester APAC, and stayed there down Dudley in Roxbury until I was asked to run by Mel King and Doris Bunty in 1984. I came in a special election in 1985 because Doris Bunty's name could not be taken off the ballot. So I had to come in the spring of 1985, and I've been there ever since.
Now, what challenges do you see facing women who are running for political office then? Do they face the same challenges now? There are not a lot of women on Beacon Hill. What do you see?
Well, always the issue around financing and money, the money that it takes to run a campaign, the money that it takes to do mailings and all of that is a serious drawback for women, and especially women of color. Most people don't look at that, or the necessity of having or raising a lot of money if you want to run. The other thing is that people have to believe that you're winnable. And I was blessed that the first time out, when I ran, I was successful. And I didn't use a lot of money, and usually haven't in most of my races. So
because you do a lot of retail politics.
Well, exactly. Hands-on.
That's
hands-on. And I had a background before I went into elected office, so people knew me in my community and knew the work that I was doing as an organizer and the human service work that I did as the director of the Roxbury APAC. That was very, very helpful. I had a background.
And you know, there's not a lot of diversity on Beacon Hill either. You're just one of 6 black lawmakers in the 200-member body, only 7 Latino legislators, according to figures from the Massachusetts Black and Latino Legislative Caucus.
Well, and there's only 4 of us that are African American in the House of Representatives, and I'm the only African American woman.
What does that
out
say
of
to you?
160 men and women in the House of Representatives? Redistricting hurt us naturally. Our population shifts, and so we have to constantly be organizing with a new population of people. In the African American community, we've seen our population moving south. Not only south out of Boston and into Milton and Canton and all of that, but south. And so people have gone home.
That's kind of watering down the voting block.
It definitely does that. It makes you work harder.
Yes.
And stand stronger in your commitment.
Now,
there's no doubt about that.
Election day is right around the corner.
Yes, it is.
I know that on every election day,
8 or 7 more days.
On every election day, you are always out in the community.
I go from one side of my district to the other.
What are you going to be looking for this election day?
Making sure that there are no violations. I always look at that. making sure that all of our polls are covered with wardens and spotters and all of the folks that's needed to make sure that inside and outside of the polls we have some coverage. Making sure that there is a gentle flow of people constantly coming in to vote. So I might stop and go on the radio and pump it up a little bit, you know, and make sure that my community comes out. We know that this election will depend on how hard we vote. This election, it'll come down to women and African American people, men and women. They say that our men don't vote. I'm asking every woman of color to bring her man with her when she goes to the polls. And so hopefully that's going to happen, and you're going to see a change on the 8th. Now, some people have already voted. About 20 million people have already voted. I am going to vote on the 8th with the rest of my people.
Yeah. Okay.
And I will start at one end of my district, the Audubon Circle end of my district, going through the Fenway, working my way back to Roxbury. I'll start in Roxbury, and then I'll go over to the end of my district and then work my way back through.
And my last question to you as we end this segment, what piece of legislation or what act are you most proud of in your tenure on being?
Well, definitely healthcare has been one of the top priorities, health and health disparities, and foster care. You know, I was raised as a foster kid, so I always monitor all issues that deal with children living in foster care, the wards of the state, as we used to be called. And so it's everybody's responsibility to look out for the children.
State Representative Gloria Fox, thank
Yes.
you. A job well done.
Thank you very much, but I'm not done yet.
Not done yet.
January is the end.
Okay.
And then I will be working with the Women in Government and the National Caucus of Black State Legislators.
All right. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Up next, how interracial relationships in America from yesteryear to today have had and continue to make an impact on race and politics in society. Stay tuned.